Sustainable energy. This is the first in our 5-topic series that corresponds with the committees of Greenwise Sacramento. And that's what we're going to spend the rest of our evening talking about, is what's really happening in this region? What's the opportunity? What are we sitting on the threshold of here? And how can you get involved? And I'm going to invite up now Julia Burrows from Valley Vision and the lead coordinator for the entire Greenwise Sacramento project. Help me welcome her.
Oh, no problem. So you've been sitting and listening for a while, and my coach over there, Gary Simon, and I'm going to have Gary stand just for a second because I'm designated as a project manager, but how many of you know Gary? He's been in our region for 30 years. He's advised presidents and congresspeople and state governors and legislators, and he's a special advisor to the mayor on this initiative also, so we spend a lot of time together on that, and it's a privilege to work with you, Gary.
Oh, thank you.
But how many of you have been to one of the mayor's Greenwise sessions yet? Okay, so, oh, very good. All right, so you know the first one was held in May when the mayor kicked off the initiative, and I'm stalling while the PowerPoint goes, with the governor and the first lady, right? So that's an indication of the access that our mayor has. His Rolodex is quite thick. Actually, it's his BlackBerry. And it's going off for 20 hours a day, literally, because he only sleeps from 1 to 5. And the second one, how many of you went to the second meeting? Oh my gosh, good job, awesome. Okay, so I am preaching to the choir. Now the third one, if you picked up your news and review, there's a column on Van Jones. And so I want you to be thinking about 2 questions I'm going to ask you after I go over the framework of the initiative. The first one, and we've already had one answer from the charismatic Mr. Hayes, which is, what is your big idea for this initiative? And I'm gonna poll the audience because we have kind of a big ideas working group, and we want to hear your big idea tonight. The other one is, because Van Jones is our speaker on Tuesday, we're trying to come up with a framework of, across the initiative, how to acknowledge the social justice issues, right, and the green IQ issues, and is it not? Oh, it's called Greenwise Overview. Okay. Right, and I'll see it right there. Okay, so what are the barriers, the obstacles, the challenges to making this economy, this green economy, accessible to the larger group that doesn't show up like we do on the green circuit in the Sacramento region? So I'm gonna ask you those questions at the end. So let me tell you just a little bit. So that picture that was of me was in Washington, D.C. at Cap to Cap, which is an advocacy trip that the Sacramento Chamber does every year. And this is the perfect storm, but in a good way, of having everything aligned. And so Renee was one of the co-chairs of that advocacy trip. So she was speaking to very large audiences about SMUD and about the perfect alignment that has happened. And so I mean that in the federal way. So Obama administration has come out with policies that support this. And we are so blessed in this region to have Congressman Matsui, who is aligned with those policies and bringing $300 million in stimulus money here. At the state level, we have a governor who has been very strategic and also very courageous in putting forth policies that have changed the way we do business and the opportunities that are here in the state. In the region, we have groups like Sacramento Sustainability Forum. We have Green Capital Alliance, which I have been a member of in my previous life as the Economic Development Director for the City of Roseville, and in my career at the city for 22 years. It's a consortium or an alliance of organizations that are working to green our region. And then now at the city, we have one of the best opportunities we've ever had with the mayor amplifying all of this work that has been already done and wanting to take us to the next level. So it's that alignment and now leveraging all of the resources that you bring and that our region brings here. All right, and so now at the city, with Mayor Johnson, he usually has several initiatives running at once with all of his energy. This year he has one initiative, which is Greenwise. And that's really to transform the Sacramento region into the Emerald Valley. And he's defining that, as Gary likes to say, it's a very deep green. It's not a superficial green that we would like to see in this transformation. And through that, there are 4 guiding principles that run across the initiative. And so we've already heard Greg talk about regional economy. This is about strengthening the region's economy, taking advantage of the strengths that were listed on his slides, and making sure that we provide access to all of those who want to be involved here in this. And some people think it's about the 104 clean tech companies that SARTA, the Sacramento Area Regional Technology Alliance, tracks. We have 104 companies like Greg's company, like Larry's company, that are in this region, but really, isn't it about challenging every business in the region to embrace some sort of sustainability? And so when we're looking for good news, on that front, there are many, many things happening. How many of you have been out to the Siemens light rail plant? Anybody been on that tour? It is absolutely unbelievable to go see the manufacturing operation that Siemens has in Sacramento. They are manufacturing light rail cars, and if you go out there, you get to ride on the Denver car, which was just finished. They have the Salt Lake cars and the Canadian cars and some Sacramento cars. They have 20 acres sitting there waiting for the high-speed rail money to come through. So they're going to build high-speed rail cars for Florida and for California first. They're going to add a couple hundred jobs on those 20 acres. And we have 23 languages spoken on that campus. Because at any one time you have technical consultants coming in from all over the world to help them build these cars. So a great story on a green business that we have. And every practice on their lot is green. They recycle, they carpool, all of the things that you can think of. Another one is, how many have been to the Walmart in Citrus Heights? Greg, have you been there yet?
I haven't.
Because they have zero waste at a Walmart. They have no plastic bags. It's all reusable plastic bags. It's one of those Walmarts. And yesterday, the Director of Innovation and Sustainability from corporate in Bentonville, Arkansas, was in Sacramento doing a tour with the governor's office of the Citrus Heights Walmart. So we're on the map for businesses in our region that have decided to go green and beta test in California in the Sacramento region because we get it here. So another good news story. How many of you have seen media coverage or been out past Aerojet to see their solar array, right? Public-private partnership, SMUD makes it happen, Aerojet makes it happen, Solar Power Inc., the local solar company makes it happen. And I had no idea what they were doing on that site, but the solar panels are there because the groundwater is contaminated. Aerojet needs, I think, 4 megawatts of power to pump the water up, clean it, and pump the water back down. And those solar arrays are providing the energy to remediate the groundwater and clean up that Superfund site. And so you just go win, 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 win all the way across the board. They get their power, they've invested locally, they've done a partnership with SMUD. That's the kind of good news that we have going on in our region. And what if every business in our region had a story like that to tell where they've embraced green? So that I think is one of the goals that will come out of this, both for regional economy and green jobs. So another metric, another number as we set goals for this initiative. So we have 13,000 clean tech jobs, right? Gary started us that number. And so one of Gary's big ideas is a sustainable sector is 50,000 jobs in any one sector. So our goal coming out of this initiative, 50,000 jobs, because then it will be a sustainable sector in the Sacramento area. How do we get there? Well, we embrace technologies like Greg and Larry have in our region. Okay, innovative policy. This is a really good one. We tried to rename it to revolutionary policy, but we had to tone that down and just call it innovative, which too many people use. We weren't allowed to use the word revolutionary, but I'll use it when I give speeches on behalf of the mayor. So what if the treasurer tax collector of Placer County, who Janine Windishausen has launched Placer Empower, which I'll do another advocacy pitch at the end of my speech to write a letter to your congressperson about the PACE program. But what if the 6 county treasurer tax collectors pulled together $10 million or $20 million from our county taxes, pulled that into $100 or $150 million fund and invested that in local government projects or school districts to tighten up their buildings and put solar on the roof, right? They're still going to make 3% on their money, which is as much as they're going to make if they send it to some company on Wall Street. And we'll be able to do beta test projects like waste to energy at treatment plants, at local utilities with that funding. So Janine is, we're going to work with some venture capitalists. We're going to work with Dr. Hargadin at UC Davis and look at that idea, and she's going to challenge her other treasurer, county tax collectors who usually haven't had the entrepreneurial hat on to make that happen. That's another big idea that we're going forward on, innovative policy. And in Green IQ, that's what we need your help with. So how do we raise the Green IQ? How do we find the green and green in this region? How do we challenge small business, large business to embrace this? And also, how do we include those that we have not traditionally included in these discussions? So on my list of things to do is to reach out to Bishop Soto, at the Catholic Church. It's to reach out to the faith-based communities. It's to reach out to the people who have never been a part of this discussion. And we have some venues to do that through SETA, through Workforce, through those that are signing up for classes on Green Force. And Dr. Kane is here from Sierra College. He does the PB classes up at Sierra College and is doing their sustainability plan on the Sierra College campus. He's not going to let them say no to that. So we have some avenues to find those folks, but we need to find more. So those are the 4 guiding principles that run across the initiative. And then some of you have already volunteered to be core team members in the 5 key policy areas, and I'll go into a little bit of detail on this framework. First is energy, and Gary's on the energy core team. There are 3 focus areas that energy will work on, and guess what? Smart energy, smart grid is one. Energy efficiency financing is another. How do we finance improvements for existing buildings and all sorts of other projects? And then leveraging local climate action plans is the 3rd focus area. So lots of local governments in the region have adopted climate action plans. Michael Kane and I sit on the Sustainability Committee for the City of Roseville. There are lists and lists of projects that, if funded, will not only reduce emissions but create amazing local jobs in this region. So that's the Energy Committee's focus. Waste and recycling. So we have some really, really good ideas that came out of their core group discussion the other day. And of course, 3 are the traditional ones, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Big focus on reduce in the first place. And so another great good news story that came out of that one. American River Packaging CEO was at our meeting, and he described his partnership with Task Technology, which is in Rockland, Roseville, and they make the swipe machines for ATMs. And they were shipping them to customers in 3 boxes. So it was in 1 box, and it was another box, and it was another box. And he's happy to sell them boxes, but he's mindful of how do I add value to my customers. So he met with them and developed a custom package, just 1 package for the ATM machine. No more 3 boxes. He actually made more money because he custom designed the product for the customer. The customer saved 50%, right, by not having the box inside the box inside the box. And when you look at the landfill picture, they just reduced it by at least 1/3 in size, if not weight. So what if we did supply chain studies for different companies and had businesses, right, come up with those ideas to do those supply chain analyses and actually tailor that. So great ideas coming out of waste. And then the other, so reduce, reuse, recycle. And Larry, do you want to share your focus area?
Conversion of organics from landfill.
Okay, and they're going to make energy and they're going to make other byproducts, which has already been defined for us. So I think that has amazing potential to set us apart. Yes?
I didn't really hear what he said.
Okay.
Did you just?
I will, I'm sorry. It's diversion of products, organics from landfills, and then we want to turn that into energy, just like on the graph, and we want to turn that into other byproducts that come out of that. So thank you for asking me to repeat that. Great potential there in the Sacramento region with the cooperation that we already have in those alliances. Okay, water and nature, that's a huge area, but another big idea is coming out of that group. We've already had 25, 30 years of discussion on how to solve the water problem here. So water quality, water availability, but on the nature side, they're going to focus on habitat ideas, they're going to focus on recreation, so manicured parks, and they're going to focus on agriculture. What if Sacramento was the most edible city